I got good grades, worked hard, did extracurriculars. I was the mode for the perfect success story. I would go to college, get my undergrad, get into Johns Hopkins medical program, do my residency, then earn 6 figures for the rest of my life. It didn't matter that I didn't know all those steps to be a doctor back then. What mattered was that I was willing to do anything to get there. Then middle school happened. Suddenly, there were a lot more careers than I had ever considered. I went through a phase. On some days, I'd want to be a fashion designer or architect. On other days, I would take "What career did you choose?" quizzes from online and get the dreaded suggestion to go into finance. I even contemplated underwater basket weaving. It's a course offered at several post-secondary institutions, until I realized you could get splinters from the task. But these were all fantasy musings, a manifestation of teenage rebellion in the form of considering careers I knew I would never actually consider. So, on most days, I'd still want to be a cardiovascular surgeon. The years went by one, until one day I left behind middle school and entered high school. High school was when I realized that maybe being a doctor wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. Maybe I didn't want to be a doctor. Maybe I wanted to be an author. My parents quickly rebuffed the idea. You could say I thought I was on the right road, but that "on" turned into a "no." "You won't make it," was what they told me right before they signed me up for another SAT prep session. It's an unstable market with no guarantee for success. And in a way, they're right. In fact, the median earnings of professional authors fall below minimum wage. It's this idea of expectation that forces us to choose the paths that many times have been laid out for us since birth. Those of us that are bright and do well in school are expected to go into careers that will make us rich and successful. Males are born expected to like masculine colors and toys and to go into careers that have traditionally been male-dominated. After all, I doubt any of you have had a male nanny. Expectation, or surrounded by it. We're expected to get to school or work at a certain time and to adhere to certain social norms. There's a misconception that expectation is something that has to be said or written down. Expectation isn't a social contract. It's a human construct born out of our minds in response to what we perceive will impress others, specifically the people whose thoughts and feelings matter to us. It's a way to make goals and keep our lives on track. But like everything else, too much of it can be a poison to our future, success, and perhaps most importantly, happiness. My parents never told me what they expect me to become. But after so many years of tutoring and prepping and unusual extracurriculars, I've come to the conclusion of what they don't expect. They don't necessarily expect me to become a doctor or lawyer or some other career that's universally accepted as, quote-unquote, what smart people do. But they also don't expect me to become an artist or dancer or musician, because what they do expect is a career that calls for at least a reputable degree or education. Parents worry. I get it, and fortunately, I understand it. There will come a day when they won't be there for us, and that day may come very soon. We need to have a stable income, one that can support a family, a roof over our heads, food, insurance. The problem isn't parental worry. There's a legitimate reason for that, after all. Our generation is expected to have the rest of our lives planned out. From the moment we're asked, "What do you want to be?" in kindergarten on the first day of school. When adults ask us about our future, we're supposed to already know our dream school, along with 1 or 2 alternates. We should know exactly what we're planning to major in and the career it leads into. People always say, it's good to have an idea of your future as early as possible and to stick to it. The problem is that we've been conditioned to think this way. Having a plan for the future isn't a bad thing, but our generation is so afraid of failing, and our parents are so afraid of failing us, that we've forgotten that failing is a natural step to success. L.L. Henderson once said, "Fathers send their sons to college, either because they went to college or because they didn't. The idea is to expect an equal or greater amount of success with each successive generation. It's like an infinite exponential function, or a roller coaster that only goes up, if you will. But that's only in theory. In reality, there are no roller coasters that go up without one day coming back down, and there is no family with each generation more successful than the last. There's always dips and turns in the equation, maybe even a crash. The dinosaurs found that out the hard way, but they paved the way for us, humans. Today, in the 21st century, we live in a culture that glorifies awards and accolades. When college apps roll around again, when you apply for your next job, when strangers come up to you, and all three ask for a list of your life accomplishments, chances are you won't answer family or friends or even happiness. Chances are you'll pull out a plastic swimming trophy, some Girl Scout or Boy Scout badges, maybe all those certificates that prove you made the honor roll every year you were in school. If you don't have any of those, well, that's what participation awards are for. Funny how we base our worth off of trophies and badges and certificates, all of which are mass-produced and can be obtained by anyone on a site like Amazon for under $10. Greatness shouldn't be measured in the medals we get or the honors or the material items we own that others can never dream to have. Perhaps in 6 years, I will end up applying to medical school. My parents have told me many times that they look forward to being operated on for free. Heart disease, after all, isn't exactly uncommon. Or maybe I'll end up with a creative writing degree, and one day you'll see my name on books in Barnes & Nobles. The truth is, I don't know. It's easier for some people. They love what they're expected to become. For the rest of us, it's not so simple. I've seen so many people go through the same cycle over and over again. I've seen my own parents with the same affliction. The people who hate their jobs and wish that they could have done anything else. They're the people who wish clocks would go faster when they're at work, and then wish those same clocks would go slower when they aren't. You see these people everywhere. You see it in the impatience of your Starbucks barista. You see it in the carelessness of doctors. Maybe you even see it in yourself. For some of us, it might be too late to change our path. But it's never too late to change what we're expected to do. We've spent so long trying to satisfy others that we've forgotten to satisfy ourselves. We have this ridiculous idea that as long as we satisfy others, we'll satisfy ourselves. We tell ourselves, just get through high school, and everything will be easier. Just get through college, and we'll relax. Just get that next job promotion, and we'll be happier. The expectation of life never ends. Not until we're drawing our last breaths and recalling all the regrets of chasing satisfaction. A few weeks ago, my friend walked into class and asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I answered, "Happy," because that's truly what I want to be. I want to be happy when I'm older. Everything else that I want can fit into that mold. That's why I ask you to stop chasing the expectations of others for your own satisfaction. It won't work. Trust me, I've tried, and I'm sure you've all tried as well. Instead, it's time we stop comparing our awards to the accolades of others. It's time we help others achieve their own personal expectations instead of expecting them to fulfill our own. Thank you.